Are you wondering how the tariffs that everyone's talking about are going to affect you personally? Well, if so, you're not the only one. I'm Kylie McKinney, founder and owner of True Prosperity Financial Coaching, where I empower individuals to win with money. So, at the time of this taping, what's going on in America in particular is the fact that we are in the midst of discussions about the economy in particular, tariffs that are being levied or threatened to be levied against certain countries, just to make sure that we have fair play economically from what our government is saying. And let me just say, first of all, a tariff is basically a tax. It's a tax on products that are imported or exported from a particular company or country, I should say. And so at this time, our government has announced that they are going to put tariffs on products, goods, services from a couple of countries, Canada, of course, Mexico, China, to name a few. And so many people are concerned of how that would affect their bottom line, their wallet. Because the thing about it is, tariffs would cause a effect upon not just the nation that's giving it, but also upon the nation that's receiving it, because they can also impose tariffs on that other nation as well, which in this case, a lot of other countries, the countries I named in particular, are threatening to do as well. And that would affect different items that we use and utilize and purchase, from vehicles to groceries to appliances, things of that nature. How would that affect these things? It would cause them to increase in value. In other words, they will go up in price, and it'll be more expensive to buy these things. So the question is, what do you do? How do you deal with? How do you insulate yourself? How do you, financially prepare for, things that can come down the line as far as increase in prices of cars or groceries or, appliances or technology that we use? Well, you've heard me say many a times that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And the thing about it is, no matter what the economy is doing, not just from tariffs, but from inflation or interest rates going up, it's good to have a plan. And so I want to go over a couple of things that you need to make sure that you're doing to make sure that your financial house is in order. I always say it's not so much what's going on in the White House as opposed to your own house that you must consider. So some things that I want to remind you of, and remind us of, that we make sure that we have in place in this time of economic uncertainty are things such as, number one, a budget. It is so important to have a budget, and all the budget is a cash plan for your money. It's you telling your money where to go instead of wondering where your money went. And when you have a budget, you're giving every one of your dollars a job. You are allocating your income coming in based upon the expenses going out, and you want to make sure that this budget addresses those items. I talk about the fact of having what's called a zero-based budget, where your income minus your outcome equals zero. So all your income coming in minus your outcome or expenses going out equals zero. A budget is so important because that's the foundation for any type of financial success. If you want to build wealth, if you want to, increase your net income, get out of debt, all those things, it's important to first start off with the foundation of a budget. You don't build a house until the foundation is cleared and stable. And a budget stabilizes your foundation financially. And it does not matter how far or where you go in life financially, even when you become a millionaire or become wealthy or reach your financial dreams, you're going to always do a budget. And basically, with a budget, you want to make sure that items are paid, of course, and are addressed. But in a budget, you want to make sure also the four walls are always dealt with in a budget. Now, what are the four walls? Well, your food, your shelter, your transportation, and your utilities. If nothing else gets paid, you want to make sure those four things are paid and addressed with a budget. Again, a budget is not restrictive. Many people say, well, if I budget, I can't do anything. That's the farthest thing from the truth. A budget does not restrict you from spending. It actually liberates you or frees you to spend the way that you need to spend or you like to spend. So if you want to budget for a tuna fish sandwich, you budget for a tuna fish sandwich. If you want to budget for filet mignon, you budget for filet mignon. If you can budget for vacation, whatever it is. So a budget is basically a cash plan for your money. You giving every one of your dollars a job. It gives you a sense of relief, a sense of peace, because you're now organized with your money. There's a plan for your money. You're getting back in the driver's seat with your money. So in dealing with these tariffs and all these uncertain things that are happening, people talking about things that are going to be increased or coming down the pike, or economic situations that may be happening around the world and in our country, having a budget in place, you taking control of your money is so important. The other thing that we would need to consider in the times of economic uncertainty is to have what's called an emergency fund. An emergency fund is a separate account that you have set up where you're setting money aside for the unexpected. Life happens, and you don't want life to have or drag you deeper into debt because there was no money there to address the situation. So having an emergency fund in place where you're stashing away money in a separate account, you want to have it separate because you don't want to dig into the regular account and mistakenly take out money that you should have set aside for emergencies because it was in your regular account. So I would recommend a savings account. It could be with the bank that you already have your account with already, but that's separate from your checking account. Or you can go online and do a high yield savings account. To start off, an emergency fund, I would say $1,000. $1,000 is a good goal to start off, and that way it handles those little emergencies, a flat tire, alternator going out, or a quick trip to the doctor that you would need to have extra income to pay for the medical bill. So those little emergencies are very important to have that money set aside for. Again, how does that work? Well, you can, just allocate, have it allocate out of your income, your check when you get your paycheck. Automatically have a certain amount that's allocated to go straight toward the emergency fund, so you don't even see it, and that way you can better manage it by not accidentally using it for something else. Or you can save by selling some things around the house that you're not using, putting some things on eBay, Craigslist, having a yard sale, just various ways that you can save toward this $1,000 goal. Of course, later on you want to up that emergency fund to 3 to 6 months of your expenses, so that if life happens, a job layoff, or a sudden trip across the country because of a death of a loved one, or some major situation, appliance goes out, you need a major car repair, you now have money set aside for that in an emergency fund. So if things happen or the economy gets to a certain situation where people do have job layoffs or experience job layoffs, or people are experiencing things economically that are kind of rough, well, that emergency fund carries you through until you can get to a point where you can get back on your feet and move further. So having an emergency fund in place is very important. So an emergency fund is another way that we can deal with the situation with these tariffs and all the economic uncertainty as well. Another way is to get rid of debt. Get rid of debt. Debt is a thief. It steals from your future by having you pay for your past. Debt could be in the form of credit card debt. It could be car loans. It could be student loans. It could be personal loans. But we want to get rid of that debt. Debt, it has a chain around our leg that keeps us bound or keeps us from doing what we want to do. When we're in debt, debt tells us where to go and where not to go. Debt tells us what to do and what not to do, what we can buy and what we cannot buy. So getting rid of debt. So how do I do that? Well, first of all, organizing to know what debt is out there, not to beat yourself up, not to feel defeated. The biggest win is, first of all, recognizing that the debt is there and facing it, because we can't fix what we don't face. We can't fix what we don't face. So getting rid of debt, I advocate the debt snowball method, where we're taking all of our debt and then we're looking at all the balances, the smallest to the greatest, and paying it off in that order. Paying off the smallest debt first, of course, while you're maintaining the minimum payments on the other debts, but paying and throwing everything you can at the smallest debt first. Now, you're not worrying about the interest rate, because the thing about it is we want to build momentum. This is not a math problem, this is a behavior problem. And so we want to get the quick wins. That's why I would advocate the debt snowball method of, paying off the smallest debt to the largest debt. And then once that smallest debt is paid off, then you take that amount that you're paying and add that to the minimum payment of the next highest debt, and then throwing everything you can at that one, and just developing that snowball effect, if you will. And that's the way that we would deal with paying off the debt until your debt's wiped out. Because it's nothing better than to walk around and not have that debt lingering, or that debt hovering over your head, especially in the time of uncertainty. So again, this goes to paying off all non-mortgage debt. I'm talking about the consumer debts, if you would. So getting rid of debt is so important, and it can be done. We do it one step, one day at a time, but being focused. Focus intensity over time, multiplied by God, gives unstoppable momentum. And that's what I want to say also, is dealing with this crisis of the economy and economic ups and downs, downturns, stock markets, and tariffs, the rest of tariffs, and how that would affect different prices of things. The best way to deal with it is to look to God. I'm a believer, and I believe that God is the source of everything. As a matter of fact, Psalms 24:1 says, "The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein." So, in other words, God owns everything. And so, because he owns everything, then what we are managers of what he owns. We're not the owners, he's the owner. But he gives everything to us to manage. And part of management is things I talked about today: the budgeting, the saving for emergencies, saving even for purchases, buying things cash and not accumulating more debt, racking up debt. And if we're in debt, having a plan to get out of it. So again, looking to God as our source and knowing that we are managers of the resources he gives us would help us to understand how to deal with and get through any crisis economically. I would love for you, if this video has been significant to you or added value to you, please press the like button, and also subscribe to this channel. You receive this type of content as well as other content that would help you to thrive with money, to win with money. That's the whole purpose of this channel, and the whole purpose of what I do is to help you win with money. And also share this video with anyone that you know would benefit from the content in this video. I would also invite you to utilize the tools. There's tools that I've given, that I have, and they're in this description. 2 online courses in particular that will help you in the 2 areas that I talked about today, in budgeting as well as getting rid of debt. Matter of fact, one particular online course, very short online courses that you can invest in. One is called Sense and Sense, a cash plan for your money, dealing with budgeting, and the other is Getting Rid of Debt. So those 2 online courses are available in the description section. Please look at that, check them out, invest in yourself, and start this journey. I will engage you on those online courses so you will have access to me, and we can walk through together how to get from now to there, or from here to there. Also, if you would like to have a free consultation with me, where we can get deeper into your own personal journey, there's a way that you can schedule a free consultation with me also in this description section below as well. So again, how do we deal with the issue of the tariffs that are going on, all the discussion, all the noise, all the echo chambers, is having a plan. Having a plan by living on a budget, having a plan by saving and putting money aside for emergencies, and also having a plan for getting rid of debt, but most importantly, looking and remembering that God is the source, and we look to Him to help us, to guide us and lead us. And this is part of His leading, is helping us to know what to do and how to have a plan to deal with our money, so that we're not striving, but we're thriving with money. There are some other videos I have on the channel. One is God's Economy. I invite you to look at that and to check it out and find out even more about how God's economy compares to the economies of the world. And also there's other videos on the playlist that I invite you to look at as well. But remember, there is a plan to get from striving to thriving, even in the midst of economic uncertainties, even in the midst of tariffs, even in the midst of inflation, in the midst of all the things that we're hearing is going on. You can be assured, you can have peace, you can have focus, and not be panicked when there is a plan for your money.